Bill Coulter, our meteorologist, joining us live from his little slice of paradise.
Wow.
Bill, love the shirt, love the background. Looks great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Wrapped in color, wrapped in love. That should be one of the monikers for the Exumas. It is such an incredible place. We're here at the Grand Isle Resort and Residences. It is just stunning. Every morning I wake up to a sunrise like this. Every color of blue you can imagine. I can only name cerulean, like a few of them. A change of day, change of color. It is unbelievable. I am so honored to be with Charity Ambrister McKenzie, who is the Director of Cultural and Authentic Events, Exuma Operations. I know you work hard, Charity, but this job title sounds like the best job in the world. One, because this is the kind of story you get to share.
It certainly is. Well, I enjoy everything I do. Because this is paradise, it makes my job so easy. And also, because it's so easy to sell, it doesn't even feel like I'm working. You know, when you love what you do, and I love meeting people like you and your crew, and welcoming everybody down to the Exumas.
It really is a welcoming feel. Even when I got off the plane, I started talking. I mean, if you're talking to someone who maybe has never been to the Islands of the Bahamas, especially Exumas, what would you say the biggest must-dos, the biggest stops, the biggest selling points?
And you know, we have many. But we have 365 keys in it that makes up Exuma. And to take a boat for a day and go through the Exuma keys, it's like an adventure you've never done. It should be on everyone's bucket list. And you get to see the swimming pigs. You get to swim with the sharks.
I did that.
You get to feed the iguanas. You go to the Thunderball Grotto, where the James Bond movie was filmed. There's just so much here to see and do. There's something for everyone.
And we were out on the water earlier this week. And, you know, there's certain places in the world that are just, you've heard so much about, that you say, are my expectations too high? But you get there, and your mind's even more blown by what you see. That Thunderball Grotto, I had no idea how big it was inside. Once you swim, the fish, I saw turtles. And then in the changing of the day, every color, I thought it would maybe be around a few keys. It was everywhere you looked.
Everywhere. Even here on the mainland Exuma, driving to work and areas where you can see the water, you can see the different shades at various times of the day. And we live here. And for me, anytime I go through the keys, I'm just like, oh, wow, gee, you just don't get used to it because it's almost like so unreal. You know, you send people photos, they think you touched it up.
Yeah.
No.
I'm glad you don't take that for granted, because one of the things that I've heard about it, I mean, you can put this on your list of vacations, or some people, I've met some Canadians who actually winter the entire time.
Yes.
We
actually have quite a large number of second home owners, and a lot of them are from Canada. And yes, on the day that you arrived, there were many Canadians on that flight, and the kids, I mean, and they're here like at least for 4 months, and they spend most of the winter getting away from the cold.
Yeah.
So they have the best of both worlds.
Another little misconception, even I had it, is you're flying over Exuma, part of the Islands of the Bahamas. Yeah, it seems kind of small. This is a very long island. There's so much to explore. We did the top half. We were in a boat maybe 207 kilometers, and they were like, oh, you have to come back and check out the south half. And I'm like,
that's
how
right.
big is this place?
Yes. Because, you know, the mainland, like where we are, and then we have an area going east that we call Little Exuma. So you take a short little ferry bridge across, you drive it, it's a one-way. And so, you know, the island is just beautiful. On that end of the island, we have what we call Tropic of Cancer Beach.
Yes.
The Tropic of Cancer runs right through there.
It's unbelievable.
And it's beautiful.
We're going to continue to give a tour. You're going to come back and talk to me in half an hour. We're going to talk about accommodations. Well, welcome back. Welcome back to the Exumas, aka Paradise, little piece of heaven here. Sorry about those audio issues. We discovered it was Jennifer Shung, unhappy that she was left behind in the cold and snow. She will be disciplined accordingly. I'm just kidding, Jen. But you know what? It's easy to be fun. It's easy to be playful when you're down here in the Exumas because it literally is heaven. I'm here again with Charity Embrister Mackenzie, who is the director of incredible things, notably cultural and authentic events, Exuma operations. So something else I discovered when I was kind of getting the tour, that there are so many opportunities for staying at every price point, and they're all really great options, not only because of the great service and the great accommodations, but I found everywhere had the view, the same view.
And that is what Exuma is all about, the water. And so where we are, obviously Grand Isle, Exuma Palms, Hideaways, Peace and Plenty, Augusta Bay, you name it. And February Point. In addition to all those lovely hotels and the smaller boutique ones, we have hundreds of Airbnbs as well.
Right.
Yeah, so people can book them. You know, Airbnb, VRBO, listen, accommodation is no issue here on the island of Exuma.
And they all had periphery fun. We went at the Hideaways, it had the splash bar. They had swings at the bar.
Yes,
I was
that
like,
is so
cute
there. Yes, I love it there.
So cute. And there was families there. Everyone was just having a really, really good time.
Absolutely.
So easy way to book in. I know it probably gets busy around the holidays, but I found there was a lot of building too. So in the years to come, just book it. Make this your destination. We also got a chance to do some of the cultural experiences and some of the really important monuments. There was the Pompeii.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit
about for people who are into the culture and the history and what have you, like you would have seen down at the Pompeii, where there's a statue of Pompeii who actually revolted. They wanted to send him to another island, and he revolted and refused, and he didn't go. And so Pompey was one of those slaves who was really instrumental in our history here. Then as you move along, you'd go to the salt beacon, where there's the salt pans, because at one point salt mining was very popular here as well. And so it's a lot of history and things to do. And the tombs where the loyalists were buried. So there's something for everyone.
And there was something really special too. We got off at Farmer's Key to find Fletcher Tinker, who's a legend woodcarver. And he took us into his shop. It was really, really quite a pleasure. So let's hear what he had to say. And this is tamarind?
Wild tamarind.
Wild tamarind.
These here are the local owl we call peel owl. In the United States, you all call them barn owl.
Ah, barn owls, okay.
But these live in the ground.
And I was asking you, these colors, I was like, did you burn them? And you were like, no, that's...
No, these are the natural color of the wood itself. These are all natural.
What's your favorite thing to carve? Do you like carving the bigger ones or smaller, or just whatever you feel in the day?
Man, there's a lot of things in here I'd like to carve. Everything. See Bahama Mama, the fruit dish, mermaid, small mermaid, Bahama Papa, the pipe, and most of all, tourists buy a lot of fishes now, like these mahi-mahi.
I had the privilege to purchase one, and it's going to be proudly displayed at home. I'm going to take a little piece of the Exumas home with me. And there's all kinds of things. There's the straw market, there's the race for Pompeii, which happens in November, and the national regatta, homecoming regatta, which also happens, I think that happens in April. Yeah, I'm telling you, it's hard not to have a smile, a full belly, and a tan here at the Exumas. We're at the Grand Isle Resort and Residences, and it is a beautiful place to stay with the sea behind me, so many different colors of blue. A couple of days ago, we were out on the waters. We went with Exuma Water Sports and covered about 207 kilometers on the sea, and everywhere I looked was the colors I've never seen before, and with the changing sun and the changing tide, they just seemed to shift. It's like a postcard. But the thing is, you know, nature is so beautiful, but man has a pretty impressive footprint, and it's not always a fantastic one, but it can be, or at least it can be a respectful one. I'm here with Catherine Booker from the Bahamas National Trust, and a lot of people don't realize that there's a lot of work being done to maintain the beauty and the ecological preservation for generations to come. What do you do with the Bahamas National Trust? How does that work?
Yeah, so the Bahamas National Trust is basically the national park manager of the Bahamas. We are a nonprofit, non-government organization. We've been around over 60 years. We have now 33 national parks, about 2.2 million acres that we manage throughout the archipelago.
Wow, it's pretty incredible. And we were talking about the Land and Sea Park, which is what we passed when we were going by, and it was stunning. And you talked about this protected area that's been around for decades, has allowed fish to replenish, has allowed it to really look like what it would be without man's impact. So tell me a little bit about the size. You said about 20 miles or?
Yeah, so the Exumas Land and Sea Park is a little over 20 miles long and about 8 miles wide. So it's a pretty significant area that we protect there. Most of it is open ocean, and there are islands. It takes in a grouping of islands of the Exumas. It's about 112,000 acres in total.
And the work that you've done, I mean, you were talking about kind of fish coming back. What's the main vision and the main challenges that you kind of face with this?
Yeah, so it's really important, you know, for most fish species to have viable populations for reproduction, and that's one of the things that the parks do is try to protect those reproductive populations, so that you know, we can have something like a spillover effect, replenishment of fishing grounds around the parks, and you know, with parks strategically placed throughout the archipelago, that's one of our goals, and it's pretty well demonstrated. You know, you have species like conch and grouper, Nassau grouper that everybody loves to eat, and those species are, you know, thriving inside the park, but then they migrate outside the park as well. So yeah, it's really fascinating, and it's a good strategy.
And the diversity too, and sometimes endangered species like the iguanas, the Bahamian rock iguanas.
Bahama rock iguanas. Yeah, yeah.
That was such a special moment, and why are they so endangered?
Well, it's you know, the Bahamas is a large archipelago of islands, so we actually have several different species of rock iguanas that are only found in the Bahamas, and that's just because, you know, these islands are isolated, so they have actually become their own species, and it's an animal that's not found anywhere else in the world, so it's endemic to the Bahamas.
So what would you say to someone who wants to come down and is watching us and some of the visuals we're showing and going, I need to see that? How do you enjoy it respectfully and make sure that you're doing it the right way? Because sometimes as tourists, we have a different mindset when we go on vacation, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So within our parks, you know, we do have rules and regulations, and we obviously ask people to please find out what those are first. If you know that you're going to be visiting a park, be actively engaged in trying to find out, you know, what our rules are, because they're in place, you know, not to keep you from doing things, but to make sure that our tourism and our visitors are interacting respectfully with wildlife. And you know, generally non-motorized activities are the best. They're quiet. They're not going to produce any other impacts to the habitats or the wildlife. So we encourage those, but of course people love to get on boats, and that's the best way to see some of these places.
Make
for
sure
sure
you leave it as you found it, right?
Exactly.
All right, I love that. No, I'm not. The flavors are incredible down here. It sounds a little elitist, but sometimes when I'm back in Toronto and you know, someone says, oh, let's go out for fish, and I'm like, my favorite meal in the world is red snapper, and I feel like I can only have it when I'm in the Bahamas. And boy, did I have a treat this week, not just to get some incredible red snapper, but some of the amazing flavors here. And we were kind of being transported by boat from key to key. We stopped at Black Point Key, Lorraine's Cafe and High Tide. If you haven't heard about it, you will, and if you haven't been there, you should, because it was an incredible experience in sort of home-cooked comfort food, the Bahamian way. Lorraine's mom actually makes coconut bread, a whole assortment of bread, and Lorraine was there slicing it, brought it in into her mom's house, sliced it for us. We were eating that. I could have eaten a whole loaf. And then we went into Lorraine's Cafe, and we had the rice and peas. We had the snapper. We had delicious salads that they do just in a conch salad, conch fritters. Conch is very particular to the Bahamas as well, and they just do it in so many delicious ways. And something else too, we call it mac and cheese back home. They just call it macaroni in here. I guess the cheese is redundant, and it is way better, I got to tell you, than what I've had back home. So there are so many delicious flavors, and then you're looking out, and maybe you're having a drink, because there was the biggest list of cocktails I've ever seen behind the bar at Lorraine's. And so I picked, I said, give me something with a bit of a cherry flavor. He's like, you want the pink bikini? I was like, yes, I do. And then I went out and I'm looking at these aqua blue waters, sipping on this cocktail. And I find that there's a lot of really amazing places, not just to get food, but to get the local flavors and cocktails as well. Which is why this gentleman behind me, Aaron Roll, we're going to be speaking to you now, because you are a mixologist, you said about 15 years?
Yes, about 15.
And tell me a little bit about, before we get into what you're going to make for us, because you're the mixologist here at Grand Isle Resort and Residences. The coconut rum is kind of what is really an endemic flavor here. Like that's what people love here.
You got
right?
it. So we got the Ricardo coconut rum. So normally people would use any kind of coconut rum, but to me, the Ricardo is very distinctive. It gives that real coconut flavor, a real island vibe.
Okay.
You know, you could taste it, especially if you put it in a pina colada.
Oh yeah.
You taste the coconut right
Probably
off the
a popular
tree.
one.
I'm telling you.
So, and you were kind of sharing some things the different flavors, the balanced flavor profile, but also sometimes the glass makes a huge difference in the genre.
Yes.
Why?
So with me, I always think of Bahama Mama like a curve. So there's plenty curves.
Yes, because you enjoy it with the eyes too, right?
You got it.
All right, it's a popular drink, the Bahama Mama. So what goes into it? Because I sip and I go, this tastes good, but I don't know.
So in the Bahamas, we like to have balance with cocktails. So it likes to be sweet, as well as a little bit of sour,
Okay.
but also has some bang
All
to
right.
it. So
Let's
here
do
we
some
add
bang
the
then.
coconut rum.
Coconut rum,
One
ingredients
part.
number 1. Take notes. I want to make this back home. We only have a very limited selection of coconut rums back home. Keep going.
Nice.
I'm gonna just talk while you're making this thing. But
And
it's
then I
nice
also have some spice rum, Captain
Spice.
Morgan. To me,
Sure.
it adds a bit more flavor than the actual gold rum.
Okay, a little
So
spice. We got about 30
spice.
seconds to put this together. Just give you a little bit of time frame.
Gotcha.
And I know it's not something that can be really rushed. This is a process.
I'll
but
make it snappy for
yeah.
you. And I also have a little bit of sweet. I
Okay.
might tell you about balance.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And this is
Grenadine?
Yep,
You got it.
I like it. And then you got the fruit juices.
You got you? Yes, sir. I got orange juice.
Okay.
1 part orange juice.
All right. And then you got another juice?
Pineapple juice.
A pineapple juice.
Gotcha. 1 part.
Do you shake it? Do you stir it?
1 good shake.
One good shake, that's all it takes.
And a nice
When
pour.
you're Aaron Roll, it just takes one shake to make the perfect cocktail. Shake that. Oh yeah, well that was 2, Aaron.
2.
I got you.
2.
That's for me because I'm special. And then you pour it out into this drink. And sometimes you put a cherry in it, or what do you finish
got
that
it.
off with?
To me, I like you to feel all the tastes of the Bahamas. So I give you an orange, a cherry, and a pineapple.
An orange, a cherry, and a pineapple. I'm getting the full service here. Now, I'm not going to drink this on camera because that would just be cruel. But as soon as I'm off, I'm going to take a sip. But guess what? Thank you so much, Aaron.
welcome, sir.
Aaron Roll, ladies and gentlemen. So your dream vacation
you.
awaits in the islands of the Bahamas. Win a 7-night trip for 2 to this tropical paradise. The prize includes return airfare from Toronto to the Exumas, a stay at the Grand Isle Resort and Residences, plus food and beverage vouchers. Now to enter, all you got to do is visit cp24.com/Bahamas before midnight tomorrow. I'm going to send it back inside the studio to Nick and Jen and take it away quickly, because I can see Aaron's eyes wants to know how I'm enjoying it, and I don't want to make you feel bad by taking a sip on TV, guys.